For me, I'm in favor of anything that makes the NBA regular season more interesting.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with me today are my cavalcade of stars. Our favorite administrator, Robert Abney, is here. Robert, how are you doing on this taping day?
Good morning, sir. As always, I am living the dream, baby.
Yes, indeed. And Captain for Life, Will Cotton. Will, I am curious to see how you're doing as we talk about the NBA in-season tournament.
Doing great.
All right, fans. So on today's Wind Up Wednesday edition, we will talk the NBA in-season tournament. We will talk about fallout from NBA free agency, summer league scouting reports. We have to tell you fans how this actually works, and a lot of WNBA news and notes as we prepare for the WNBA All-Star Game. But first, it is now official. And according to the group text, Will, I was the only one watching it last night. The NBA in-season tournament is now official, and here we go. The NBA officially unveiled its newly formed in-season tournament and the NBA Cup that teams will claim for winning it. The event is a culmination of a vision of NBA Commissioner Adam Silver and what he had for years to bring a European-style competition to the league. As part of the announcement, the league also unveiled 6 5-team groups, 3 from the Eastern Conference, 3 from the Western Conference. And to create those groups, the NBA used a World Cup-style draw process, splitting each conference into 5 pots that was separated by last year's regular season standings. So, fellas, pot 1 featured teams that finished first through third. Pot 2, teams that finished 4 through 6. Pot 3, teams landing 7 through 9. Pot 4, 10 through 12. And pot 5, 13 through 15. From there, they selected, and now we have a tournament. Group play will take place in early November. So as the season just kind of gets started in November, there'll be a combination of 4 Fridays and 3 Tuesdays. So these will be League Cup standing games. And then you'll have quarterfinals, and then semifinals will be played in Vegas, and the finals will be played December 9th, if I am not mistaken. So let's talk about the prizes before we get your reaction. Players will take home $500,000 for being on the winning team, $200,000 for the losing team. Semifinal teams get $100,000, and the final team gets $50,000. There's no fancy name on the cup. I thought it was going to be named after David Stern, but it was not. But he did admit that changes could be made in the future, and I'm sure some type of sponsorship will be on it. So some quick thoughts. It's based on international soccer. Adam Silver says it's a perfect fit for our game. All 30 teams will participate. New traditions take time, and I got a little bit of an AAU vibe. So Robert, as our resident administrator, what do you think, sir?
For me, I'm in favor of anything that makes the NBA regular season more interesting, because the regular season, I mean, and again, I'm a baseball fan, but the regular season gets a little bit long, and basically it's not interesting. And the NBA Cup is definitely going to create some more interest for me and for other people. That being said, I do have a question. Once you get into, once you advance out of your pool, you're talking about it being an international soccer flavor. Are they playing like a home and home, and you advance on the aggregate, or what? I don't know.
Well,
but anyway, it's a cool idea. I like the idea.
Up until the title game, East and West teams will play only opponents within their conference, setting up a true East versus West showdown in the championship. So that's as far as I got with that. But at least I almost had an answer for you. Yeah. Will, what do you think, man?
I like it. I mean, I don't think it's for guys like me, who watch basketball all year long and all don't miss a game. These are guys for like Robert, man, like trying to get people into the game and trying to get new people who want to watch the game and, and just find love to the game. I love that the NBA loves to take risks like this. It's fun. I mean, I would like it, if the NFL did funny stuff like that, but they're a little too traditional for that. But yeah, so if, and at the worst, if it doesn't work, we go back to the normal way we were, and that's it. So, but I think it'll catch on. I think it'll catch on with younger viewers and viewers who are kind of like getting into the NBA. Traditional people like who've been watching for decades are like,
we don't watch it till Christmas anyway.
Yeah, right. But we'll watch. We'll have a beer on. We'll have it on. We may not be watching it like. But I think it's good. So good for the NBA, man.
All right. So, Robert, we're going to pick going in the Eastern Conference. Group A, 76ers, Cavs, Atlanta Hawks, Pacers, Detroit. Who's coming out of Group A?
Sixers.
Okay. Will, you're going to do Group B, Bucks, Knicks, Heat, Wizards, and Hornets. Who's coming out of Group B?
Oh, gotta be the Bucks.
Okay, I'll do Group C, Boston, Nets, Raptors, Bulls, Magic. I'm going with the Celtics. So now let's go to the Western Conference.
Hang on. I got a question though.
Yes.
So it's 8 teams. So
in the group, you have 5 teams in the group, and it's pool play. So you play everybody in your group, and then you come out of your group, and then they reseed and do whatever.
But then they're going to have like quarterfinals, semifinals, finals kind of thing.
Yes. Single elimination.
Where do the other 2 teams come from?
I am sure that will all be made very clear because my notes, I guess, are not clear. So let's see. The group play portion will consist of 4 games, one against each other on 4 teams across groups. That will take place in November. From there, the winner of each group will advance to a knockout round, along with the highest finishing team that didn't win a group in each conference. There you go. Okay. And then those teams will play quarterfinal games December 4th and 5th at the higher seeded team, with the 4 teams that win those games advancing to the semifinals.
Okay.
So there, look at that. We are kicking it. We are getting that information out there. Go for the show notes. Okay. So in the Western Conference, Will, you got Group A, Memphis, Phoenix, Lakers, Utah, and Portland.
Oh, man. I think Phoenix is built for that kind of tournament, and
like it's early in the season, so they're still playing.
AAU, and all those guys are all AAU. So I think give me Phoenix out of that.
Yes, LeBron's not going to play until January. Okay. Robert, you got Group B, Denver, Clippers, New Orleans, Zion's playing, Dallas and Houston. Who you got?
You got to take Denver out of that group. I don't like anybody else in that group.
Okay. I'll take Group C, the Sacramento Kings, Golden State, Minnesota, OKC, and San Antonio. Give me OKC with them young legs in the beginning of the season. Give me OKC to make it interesting. So,
SGA, baby.
Yeah, man.
I like young legs, man. Young legs play early. Old legs play late. All right. So we got fallout from free agency. Portland, Will, this is on you. Portland is seeking a lot for Dame Lillard. So here's their asking price. 4 first-round picks, 2 quality rotation players. Dame has said that he only wants to go to Miami, and his agent said if anybody else gets him, you're going to get a disgruntled player. Quite frankly, they say Dame simply wouldn't show up if traded to another team other than the Heat. Don't know if that's true or not, but that's what the word is around the league. Well, what should Portland do with Dame?
Portland should do what's best for Portland. They catered to Dame for the last empty years for his career, supported him. They've paid him, and they've all had they flourishes. They made it to the playoffs. They've made it pretty deep too. But this is business, and unfortunately, if there's no trade clause, then being unhappy is irrelevant to me. We're a business at the end of the day. When you're no longer part of the organization, I'm not worried if Damian Lillard is upset. Like that's a Utah problem, or that's or a different team. That's not my problem. It could have done earlier. If he got off his pride, was like, hey, trade me. It's not this. Oh, I'm down. I don't run from the fight. I don't run from the work. I'm like, man, now you're doing even worse with the people who even said they want to leave. So I hope they just trade him. Just trade him and
let somebody else worry about it.
Retire his number, and then he'll be back like, I love Portland. You know how it goes, man.
Okay. Robert, you've got Houston. I love what Houston has done all offseason. They got Fred VanVleet. They got Amen Thompson. They got Jabari Smith. They got Dylan Brooks, Jeff Green, and the local kid. I'm forgetting who they drafted like late in the first round. Robert, will Houston be as good as I think they're going to be?
I think they're going to be a lot better than they were. I'll say that. I don't like Dylan Brooks personally.
You need one nut, not two. You need one fool. You need him.
Yeah, and that's where I was going. You need a guy like him on your roster. You need somebody like that.
Don't get three of them though.
No, because then
they start hanging with each other.
Then they're competing to see who can be the biggest dummy. But no, I think they're going to be a lot better. I don't know if they're a playoff team, because that's a big ask from where they were, but they're going to be a lot better for sure.
All right. Well, you got Memphis. Marcus Smart is an adult in the room. You got Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane. You got players now, and you got some old people ready to help them. What do you think about Memphis moves? What do you think?
I love Memphis, man. I'm a big Desmond Bane fan. I've been following him since he became a rookie. Kid is solid. I've noticed that whenever he gets hurt, Memphis takes a big drop off. But when Ja Morant usually misses time, they still win. They still keep it going. I really like him. I like Triple J, my boy. Made an all-star. He's improving every day, every year, which is great. I think they have to really I don't know if it's hope, pray, see, but Ja Morant is going to be the key how far they go. I think they have a really solid team. I think Marcus Smart is a great captain. He knows how to win. He's won before, obviously not a finals, but he knows what it takes to get to that peak. And we'll see what happens. I think Ja is the question mark. Either he grows up and becomes the guy and gets them over the hump, or they're wasting some time and they should trade him early. But I like Memphis, man. I like what they're doing, and I like their culture going on.
All right, I'm going to take Atlanta, fellas, because I rag on the Hawks all the time, but I like Quinn Snyder as a coach. They got Mike Bray on the sidelines, and they're like getting rid of a lot of people. So they brought in Ty Washington and a couple other guys, and then they traded him in a cost-cutting move. They traded Ty Washington Jr., Usman Garuba, and Rudy Gay, as well as a future second-round draft pick, to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Patty Mills. Patty Mills has gotten traded like 3 times in the last month. All right. So the deal gives the Thunder, Robert, they got 35 draft picks in the next 7 years, including 15 first rounders. The Hawks will save $4.5 million on salary. Atlanta has a good coach, but I don't think any of this is going to work. So I'm going to tag off to Robert to talk about OKC. So now OKC has 21 players under contract, the maximum you can have. They traded Patty Mills 3 times in 10 days. They have good players. You're watching Summer League. Those young legs is running. They got all types of first-round draft picks, and they just picked up Victor Oladipo from the Miami Heat. Robert, is OKC trying to make a run or something, or what are they going to do with all of this capital?
I'm not sure, because that's you got 21 players under contract and you've got 15 draft picks in the next 7 years. Okay. What are you going to do with all that? Because the challenge,
Robert,
they-
it's 35 draft picks.
35 draft picks. Well, here's the challenge. Nobody wants to go to Oklahoma City. Nobody wants to go to Oklahoma City, which I get. Oklahoma City is fine. It's a cool little city, but it's a little city, and it's, it's not like it's easy to get to.
No,
There ain't a whole ton of direct flights to Oklahoma City.
no.
It's not, it doesn't have a cool nightlife. There's no draw there. So that's really their challenge. If they're going to build something, how are you going to do that?
They're going to have to make somebody come and stay. Because I've been to Norman, Oklahoma. I did a presentation at the University of Oklahoma, and I didn't leave the Embassy Suites too much.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not a lot there, and I mean, I think that's probably the best way to go about it. That you gather enough capital that you can put something together, and maybe you find the right guys. You find the right guys. They're like, I don't need all this other stuff. I'm good here as long as we're good. As long as we're winning, I'm good being here. We'll see what they do with that. That's a lot of capital, though. That's a lot of tools you have in your toolbox to build something.
Yes. So, Will, you've got Dallas. They got Grant Williams coming in from Boston to team up with Luka and Kyrie Irving. What are you thinking about that, man?
It's just unbalanced. Like they don't seem like I mean, I guess we got to see how it works. I mean, Kyrie, Luka, very ball handle kind of guards who need the ball. And then Grant Williams, I mean, he's a glue guy, great guy for what you need. You get your dirty stuff. He can defend, he can shoot enough, keep you honest, things like that. But losing, Porzingis, I mean, still Porzingis and all the pieces that they lost for Kyrie, all the things like that. I mean, it's hard for them to catch, it's hard for them to catch. It's hard for them to get back where they were. I just think it's going to be difficult, but it'll be a show. And if anything, it'll be a drama because Kyrie and Luka are definitely going to be going head to head. I think at some point I give them maybe like December before they start fighting.
Okay. Robert, I'm going to give you the last two because I need an administrator's point of view. So the Bucks, Giannis had a cleanup procedure done on his knee a few weeks ago, and he's uncertain to participate in the World Cup. Giannis is getting up there a little bit, and cleanup surgeries in the off season. Is this the beginning of the end for the Bucks?
I felt like that they took advantage of their window already. And after that season, that was pretty much going to be that. Again, I haven't been to Milwaukee, so I can't speak for Milwaukee, but doesn't seem like Milwaukee's exactly a destination either, especially in January.
Oof.
So
Just saying, make me feel cold. I need to go outside.
I know. See, I think, I mean, Giannis is a great player. I love watching him play. I just don't know if they can if they can get anybody to come and play with him to move on, to move deep into the playoffs. I don't know if that's going to happen for them.
All right. And then finally, keeping you in Texas, Pop, hot off the presses, just signed a new deal where at age 74, he signed a 5-year deal worth $80 million. Good work if you can get it. What does this mean for the Spurs, and will he even serve out the contract? Are they excited about Pop staying another 5?
Keeping the seat warm for Becky Hammond. That's it. That's what I would love to see that happen. I don't know if that'll happen.
And she'll get a prime Wemby, which now she's
Pop's a great. This is similar to, I would say this is similar to, somebody signing LeBron for a max exemption right now. You're paying him for what he's already done. And I think that's what you're doing with Pop. You're paying him for what he's already done for the organization.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, fans, when we get back in segment 2, we're going to take a coaching dive into Summer League, not the fanboy and girl dive, a coaching dive, so you can find out what you really should look for during Summer League. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast.
The CKA SAVE Project is an industry leader in advocating for student-athlete, academic, and athletic needs. Through academic and athletic enrichment, the CKA SAVE Project is on the forefront of the issues facing 21st century student-athletes. As student-athletes continue to struggle to find a better balance between academic and athletic success, the CKA SAVE Project offers academic and athletic services to support student-athlete academic success, including academic skills assessment, academic and athletic consulting, academic monitoring, academic and athletic workshops. For more information or to schedule a free consultation, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 2. An initial Summer League scouting report, and we're not going to go through everybody, but we're going to go through Victor Wembanyama, Scoot, and Amen. We'll talk about them as we get there. But fans, first, let me take you to Coach Adams' locker room so you can get some general reminders about Summer League. 1, you have limited practices. So if you're not practicing, you don't know what any of that's going to look like. Okay. 2, if you're like Coach Adams, you're scared of injuries. I'm petrified of getting hurt when it doesn't count. 3, the summer is about player development. There are players in my past. I'm going to drop quick names and send them shout outs. But I had a player when I was at Paint Branch named Thomas Washington, who we switched from 3, which is small forward, to 1. So Summer League was giving him 15 games of him getting comfortable with it. And sometimes it didn't look very good. But moving forward, he was good enough to obtain a college scholarship and play Division II basketball. Had a guy in my Paint Branch team named Shea Oyenuga who spent the summer guarding pros. Okay, what do I mean by that? He guarded guys that ended up playing high level of Division I and going to the league. And we had him out there by himself with no help so he can develop a next play mentality. As a result of that next play mentality, we end up winning the state championship because he can guard without help because he's already been embarrassed. So I'm not worried about that. I was at Wooten High School with Drew Smatt, Justin Berg. Those guys couldn't play any defense. They're not the most athletic people, but one thing they could do is they could shoot threes from places that now people are shooting from. So we spent Summer League practicing shooting from that distance and not being shot. And of course, Fowler, we worked with him on playing through contact because he didn't like the weight room. So all summer we worked. I think Will was a shooting partner, if I'm not mistaken, on playing through getting hit. So I think Will took an incredible glee in fouling him. But it kind of worked out pretty well for him. And at Hood, when you coach in college, you want players to understand offensive concepts because I work with a Hall of Fame coach who had an extensive knowledge of running plays and sets. So when they played with their friends, when they played pickup, they did those things. So the end goal is, what are you bringing back? So you know how to get better. Okay, what are you bringing back? So you know what you need to do to get better. And also you learn as a coach if you need to get somebody else. So you're also watching that. So with that, Robert, Victor, here's my thoughts. Go to you first, go to Will second. Victor needs to work on being ready to react to plays called by point guards. I don't know what he did in Europe, but he looked lost out there, and that's okay. He needs to stay connected and stay engaged. I'm sure Will can hear me saying lock in. He needs better conditioning. Okay? You got to run, man. But he's just been on the banquet circuit. You're supposed to be that way. You've been on the banquet circuit eating your little chicken dinners and your rice, and now we can get back to doing stuff. He's playing both the power forward and the center spot, so he's going to be asked to do 2 different things, and that takes time. You know he's 19, right? But he did block shots and he pulled down rebounds. So that's my analysis of Victor Wembanyama. Robert first, Will second. What do you think about Victor, sir?
Man, there were guys on Twitter going loud, oh, he's a bust. It's like, just you're just poking the bear. That's what you're doing. Let the young man work. Let him work a little bit. Come on. He needs to figure out how to play at that level, because he's going to see better athletes than he saw in Europe in general. I mean, and he played in a good pro league, but he's going to see better athletes here in summer league than he saw there during his regular season. His entire first season is going to look a lot like what you saw during that first game. He's going to get dunked on a lot, and he's going to block a lot of shots, and he's going to get a lot of rebounds, and he's going to have nights where he goes off and scores 37, and then the next night he's going to score 7 because he's 19 years old.
19.
And that's what's going to happen. And in 3 or 4 years, when after they lock him in the weight room and throw him some raw meat every once in a while, and he puts on 20, 30 pounds, things will be a little bit different.
Will, am I too hard on him?
Oh no, I think that's very accurate. I think both of you are both accurate in terms of your how his progression is going to happen. And again, just to add on, because I'm not going to reiterate what you guys have just said, he has a target on his back. 7'4", the first pick. Guys are gumming for him. They're trying to dunk on him. It's just it's a basketball thing. It's a test. It's a who's the baddest, who's the biggest, who's the best. But and again, he's not going to get all the minutes either this summer league. I doubt he.
Oh, God knows I don't want to.
I don't want to do that. I think the Spurs, just like you said, Coach, I think they saw some things, they wrote it down on their list, and like, okay, I need to come out with a nice 5-year plan, and this is how we're going to do this. I mean, that's how it's going to work. I mean, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. The guy can move. I mean, for 7'4", the guy was pretty fluid. He was running. I don't know. And the first thing I would say to him, I was like, okay, Vic, in the reporters, don't say you don't know what was going on. That's number one. It doesn't look as, I know what he's saying, but it's a bad soundbite. So, but he'll be fine. I think he's as he grows and he learns and he figures like, man, how much skill and ability I have over than everybody, he'll be fine.
All right, Will, I'm going to give you Scoot Henderson from the Blazers first, Robert second. So one, he got hurt. Okay, so right there, I got a problem. I try to tell y'all, I don't want you playing, but I need you to play. But before he got hurt, he got into the lane at will. You could see that. He set up teammates for threes, open shots. I'm not worried about somebody making or missing a shot. I'm worried about him getting a ball to him. He found ways to be involved on both ends of the court. He got his hands out in the passing lanes. He pushed pace. He's poised. You can see he's played this thing. Okay. He didn't look rushed. He didn't look like the moment was too big for him. And then he hurt his shoulder. But yeah, you won't see him again.
Yeah, no.
until the fall. Will, am I being too hard on him? What do you think? And then Robert chime in after Will.
No, I agree. I think, guys who play like that, they just have an understanding of the game where they can, you're not going to speed me up. I'm going to move at my speed. I mean, we see it with Luka. I mean, the guy moves his own speed. So that's different. I mean, a young kid coming in, getting kids on different, getting them open, playing defense. I mean, I think the thing with the shoulder thing is like, man, the kid plays too hard for games that doesn't matter. So, it's, I shouldn't say that, but, if it was a regular season or if it was a deep trying to make it to the playoffs, I think he's right back in there. I'll see how good they can go, man. I'm obviously won't see any more. The summer league won't see any more. So I can't get excited for the preseason games, man. That's September, October. So excited to see him again, and he'll be back and be ready, and he'll have his ups and downs, like you said. But I think he's another good one.
What do you think, Robert?
When I see guys like that in summer league, my question is always, you talked about him getting into the lane. Can he get into the lane when somebody who's actually on a roster is guarding him? That's the question, right? Because I mean, he looked good. He looked good in the summer league, but those, how many of those guys are going to be on a roster? Let's be honest.
All right. Amen Thompson from the Rockets. Man, he's got a good feel for the game. He makes good decisions. He's a good decision maker. Good passer. He looked again comfortable. I have a rising freshman, and the biggest compliment I can give him right now is that he looks like he belongs on the field. Now, again, he's not doing something to say, wow, who's he? But he's also not doing something to say, hey, who the heck is that? Right now, he's right where he needs to be. And then he gets hurt. He gets a grade 2 ankle sprain, and he'll be out 3 to 4 weeks. So no more summer league for him. Let's get healthy. Robert, what do you think about the Thompson kid, man?
Get some high tops.
That's a generational. I don't know why they're wearing sweatshirts in the summer, and I don't know why they're wearing them little dinky shoes.
And hoodies. Hoodies.
Yeah, the hoodies, man.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, my question, and I totally understand where you're coming from with you don't want kids to get hurt, but I mean, these guys are running up and down all the time. How are they getting hurt right now? That's always my question. You run up and down every day, all day, and you're getting hurt now? How does that even happen? I don't know. Anyway, that's me telling people to get off my lawn. That's what that is.
Will, what do you think, man?
I like the kid. I mean, he looks physically, the guy looks like he's ready to go. My only question is, what are all these young players just standing out, watching the games? I mean, Jalen Green's is taking in the game. I'm like, you need to be
chilling, brother. What's up?
You need to be on the court too, because you're only 20 years old too, as well.
I'm a veteran.
Oh, excuse me.
That's why I was glad to see Chet play. I'm not going to go through everybody, but I was glad to see Chet play. Now, Chet, you'll have to play no more.
Yeah. Oh,
you go sit down somewhere.
He fell like 4 or 5 times. I'd have been just there as the GM, like, oh my goodness, he fell again. But he was playing, man. So I would love it if the guys would play, man. Even if it was one game, last year's rookies, this year rookie together to kind of play a game together to understand, like, and it builds that relationship. So I wish more guys did it. But yesterday, I mean, he played well, looked good. Obviously you're going to go on much bigger men, much faster men when you get in the league. And it was an impressive look.
Yeah, and as we close this segment before we transition to the WNBA, it just reminded me of my old life, fellas. I was a talent evaluator. I was in gyms for hours upon end, and you're just watching stuff and you're taking notes and you're taking it back to the war room, so to speak, to say, okay, here's who we like, here's who we don't like, here's what they need to work on. And then we build from there. So part of this segment was the Twitter sphere and the social media universe. Too many reactions off of a summer league game. He's going to be a bust. He's at this, like Robert said. And it's like, big picture, folks, big picture. So when we get back, let's get ready for the WNBA All-Star Game. We'll be right back on the iCoaches Podcast.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Fallon Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams, just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 3, WNBA Stories of the Week. And we begin with sad news. And I'm from the area that she played part of her professional career in. Nikki McCray-Penson, who helped lead the 1996 Olympic team to a gold medal, great Martin episode, by the way, died at 51. And that's just really, really sad. She's a women's basketball Hall of Famer. She played for Tennessee, played for Coach Pat Summitt, played in the ABL and the WNBA. You got to look at the WNBA's like history to know the significance of the ABL. Played for the Mystics while she was here. She coached for over 20 years. Just really, really sad to hear. She's 51, has a 10-year-old son, and our thoughts go out to her family members. And I just wanted to get that out of the way. Now, fellas, I want to talk about Unrivaled. So New York Liberty forward Breanna Stewart and Minnesota Lynx forward Naficia Collier. They're trying to form a new women's league, very similar to the Big Three that Ice Cube does. And they're going to have 3-on-3. They're going to have 1-on-1. And they're trying to pay the women comparable to what they would make in Europe so they don't have to go. They're looking for investors. They're looking for people to assist with this. They're looking to hold it at one location. So Will, as somebody who likes newfangled ideas, what do you think about Unrivaled? Do you think it'll work? Any thoughts you have on that topic?
I like it. Anything to spice it up, try and do something new. If the owners are not going to make these decisions, if owners aren't really going to actively do these things, then why shouldn't the players? The players like, hey, look, if now that we have kind of this opportunity to do these things and keeping people in the United States, I mean, it just makes sense. I just hope they get the investors, and I hope they get the money, and people really give it a run. People give it a chance. I mean, obviously, people aren't going to watch like Saturday night or, but Tuesday night, man, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll watch that. And 3-on-3 is a lot different. People think it's a lot more different in terms of the game and who explodes in terms of the skill set for it. But I'll be excited for it. I'll be ready to watch that, man. They got to do it the right way and package the right way. And, and I think, but I would definitely give it a watch. I would actually look, I have some ideas if they want to hire me.
Okay.
I could be part on the collective on the early front.
So Robert, as my administrator, you have run schools who have tried innovative ideas to solve common problems. And one of the biggest problems WNBA has is the off-season piece, the money, the exposure. Many of them probably want to play during the air quote traditional basketball season. What do you think about this idea, sir?
I think it's going to be awfully hard for them to make it, because when you talk about off season for them, you are talking about the traditional basketball season. So you're going to compete with the NBA. You're going to compete with the with the NCAA
College,
men's and women's college basketball. You got the G League going. You got all this other stuff going on.
and that pigskin.
Yeah, and you have football going until now February. I mean, I don't know when you would do it, would be one thing, and the other is, where are you going to put it? I mean, Vegas.
They're looking at Miami. That
Okay.
I do know. They're looking to do it in Miami.
Okay, well, and Miami is a destination place, so they won't have any problem getting people to go there. But you got the Miami Heat there. So when are you doing this? That would be my only question. I think anything that we can do, first of all, it would be nice if the NBA, since the NBA is a joint venture with the WNBA, would just say, you know what, we're going to pay y'all, so you don't have to do this stuff. So you don't have to go play in Poland during the basketball season.
Yeah, it's true.
But I love the idea. I just don't know logistically what that's going to look like yet.
Well, here's a little bit more information. They assembled a team of business and sports industry leaders from companies such as Twitter, DAZN, the WTA, the WWE to help launch the league next January. So that answers a couple of questions about the football thing, because they come in January. That's a better time to do that. The players they've approached so far have shown enthusiasm for the idea, provided that they can deliver on the promised salary and vision. One of those is Chelsea Gray, who has played overseas or has done broadcasting, and she's intrigued by the idea of playing 3-on-3 and 1-on-1 instead of a traditional 5-on-5 game, which speaks to what you talked about, Will. You also have Athletes Unlimited as a newly launched professional women's league trying to take advantage of the off season. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on with that. Let's talk about the prioritization rule and welcome back Gabby Williams. So Seattle Storm forward Gabby Williams is back in the league. She is here. She's ready to play. She signed with the Seattle Storm. But here's her thoughts on prioritization. I still think prioritization thing is ridiculous. I'll say it. Like literally, I'm only here because I got concussed, meaning she got injured and couldn't play in the French League finals. Then she would have been out of provisions of her contract. So let me tell you guys what the prioritization rule is again, so our new time listeners can understand it. Under the WNBA new prioritization rules, which are a part of the 2020 collective bargaining agreement, Gabby Williams, who was a restricted free agent, needed to complete any offseason play before WNBA's opening day, or else she would be considered ineligible for the league. There's a lot of players who play overseas, and now, as a result of that, they have to get back here, and the rules are going to get more harsher over the next few years. It's collectively bargained, Robert. Union said it's okay. What do you think about prioritization?
I think their union did them dirty.
Okay.
I mean, well, and so the question is, what did they get in return? I guess my question would be, what did you get in return for that? Because what you've done is you've put your players in a disadvantaged position, because if I'm a European team and I'm signing these WNBA players to help us get to the playoffs, knowing that they're not going to be available for said playoffs, why would I do that?
Mm-hmm.
So, Will, what if they move the season up in Europe and do us a solid? How's that working?
That would be ideal, but ain't nobody going to do all that. That's too much time. And, at the end of the day, they're going to be, they're going to cut costs and say, oh, well, I'll figure out to do something else. It's unfortunate. It's just unfortunate. And there has to be some sort of somebody to be looking into that when the next CBA is being negotiated. That should be huge. Unless the pay structure changes, I mean, the WNBA should have a lot more to say when the CBA is actually coming out. And that's just why would, like Rob said, what did they come up? What did they give up for that? What did they get?
Yeah, I know they didn't get airfare and charter flights. They didn't get that. They got more money. I know they got more money, but their money was light to begin with.
Yeah, it was
all right.
A deal.
Well, let's get to the standings. So the Aces are number 1, Liberty 2, Sun 3, Mystics 4, the Atlanta Dream 5, Dallas Wings 6, Minnesota Lynx 7, and the Chicago Sky 8. And the Sparks, Fever, Storm, and Mercury are out of the playoff hunt. So games of the week. Friday is the 2023 edition of the WNBA All-Star Night. You got your 3-point contest and you got your skills challenge. And then on Saturday, July 15th, 8:30 p.m. on ABC, Will. ABC Network Television, the WNBA All-Star Game will take place. You've got Team Stewie going against Team Aja Wilson. Any thoughts on the WNBA All-Star Game, Will?
I wish it was a day earlier for each thing. I wish that, the skill set, the skill challenge and all that was Thursday, and then Friday would have been the WNBA All-Star game. And then it's because I still will like watch the game on Friday night. Like that to me works, but Saturday gets kind of tough,
You don't like Saturday night 8:30. Robert, what about you? Saturday night 8:30 WNBA All-Star game, ABC television. You don't have to search for it. It's right there in front of you. What do you think?
I'm with Will. You want that on a Friday night or on a Sunday night. You don't want that on Saturday night because you're out with your family doing whatever you're doing, right?
Okay. All right. Well, at least no, because 8:30 start time. The young ladies, some of them may be asleep by the end of the game. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right. So, fans, this is the melancholy final word for me. Last week we lost somebody very close to me. Chris Sumner passed away, and I'm a basketball coach, and one of my players was George G. Sumner. And George played on my state championship team in 2000 at Paint Branch. He was part of our Run TMG, Tamar, Mike, and G. And his brother Chris is like 18 months younger than him. So it's like having twins. And where you saw George, you saw Chris. And although he never played for me, Chris was family. Chris went to Gonzaga College High School, played at Mount St. Mary's, went on to work globally with some of the NBA charities and peace players and a lot of things. So Chris worked in 5 to 7 different countries. Okay. He came back home. He taught math at Gonzaga. Chris was a great man from a great family, and unfortunately, we lost him recently. Chris wore the number 12, and this episode will air on what would have been his 40th birthday, July 12th. So I simply want to say, happy birthday, Chris. You are already missed, my friend. So on behalf of my cavalcade of stars and my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast. We will see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care and check on somebody. You never know what they're going through.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org.